Asato ma satgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityurma amritam gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Jai Guru, welcome to this beautiful Thursday, a rainy, nice, cool day, and many places are flooded with water. Today, I thought of sharing with you that how can we have insights in finding joy and make it a self-creation of joy. Just like the flooding of the water all around, water everywhere. Can we have that? Have you realized that the ancient India focused not on the body, not on the mind, not on the so-called the ambience around. We think our world is the world outside. Our world is my family. Our world is the child, the wife, the husband, the parent, the company, the money in the bank. This is our world. But notice, all these things are outside of us. Isn't it? Think. We have, because of which, have become very compulsive nature. And what is compulsive nature? Which is what is creating suffering. And in other words, when I talk about overcoming and having an insight on finding joy and self-creativity, it means overcoming suffering. Who wouldn't like to overcome suffering? So the ancient Indian rishis, they focused on inside. We are focusing on the ambient, the outside. And we think that is our world. But our world is not out there. Our world is truly in here. The out there is our mind, with which you have the intellect, the ego, the memory, and the feelings, with which we are perceiving the world by powering. Mind powers the brain, brain powers the five senses. Five senses go outwards, bring the world across, and bring it through the five senses back to the brain and to the mind, and tells us, I am happy. This is the mountain. This is my house. And takes you to outside the world. But we do not realize it, and the Western world is still not managed to fathom and catch upon it, that this outside world is created by our mind, which has got the intellect, memory, ego, and feelings, and our brain, and other five senses. But they're all having no power at all. Five senses, the brain, the mind has no power. As per ancient India, the Vedanta is telling you, it is the Chit, Chaitana, Chit, the consciousness alone is the power. And as per Taittiriya Upanishad, those of you being Vedantists having taken a long journey with us till now, you know that Taittiriya Upanishad says that consciousness is Brahman, is Ishvara. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. That Brahman. Now, if I can get connected to that, that is that insight, you have no suffering. And you have that insight to that intense joy, and because of your own self-creation. Did you know that India is talking about, if you have 15 to 30% control over your body, the food that you eat, the way you live, the way you sit down and talk, if you have 15 to 30% control of your, if you have mastery over your body, you will have 15 to 30% control over your life. If you have, let me make it clear, 15 to 30% of your life will be under control in you, with you, by you. if you have mastery over your body, the food that you eat, the type of word that you use, the talk that you do, the expression of joy that you spread around, they're all our body, mind, expression, feelings, faith, isn't it? And it goes ahead and says, if you have controlling over your mind, that mind, intellect, memory, ego, and feeling, if you have control over your mind, by the way, as per Vedanta, it is 16 parts are there in the mind. But I'll not get into the detail. The outline is 4 parts. Then, if you have mastery over your mind, 60% of your life will be under your control. Meaning, you will get what you want and you will do what you want. And you will be amazed to hear this nature, this universe will listen to you 60%. And if you have control over your life, over your consciousness, over your Chaitanya, you cannot control the consciousness. But it is just metaphorically using to understand it. Because the consciousness is Ishvara, God. But as per Advaita Vedanta, if you become aware that I am that consciousness, Aham Brahmasmi, Mahi Brahmahu, then 100% your life is under your control. You choose even when to die, when to leave your body, and you choose the world around. You suddenly find that the whole world is under your control. You will find the very way you live, the very way your day-to-day time passes is under your control. Wouldn't that be beautiful? That is where you go ahead and change your suffering to joy. Think for a second. Human mind is powered by human consciousness. And human mind can do anything. Tremendous power. No? Now, is there any human being that you know who has never been happy in his life at least for one moment? There are none. All of us have had some happiness and some suffering. No? Now, if you divide your life into moments, and a moment is even fraction, like even less than second. A moment, if you can have a control over that, and you can control joy, control happiness, that moment is happy. You would love to see that happiness, right? Now tell me, if you can create one moment of happiness, can you create the next moment of happiness? Yes, you can. And what about the next moment? And the next moment? And the next moment? When you have mastery over your consciousness, Chaitanya, which in turn will control the mind and the body, you have absolute control of that happiness and you remove your suffering. You are in bliss, in joy. By the way, questions are very important. Keep writing down, shooting me to the question. They're important steps to becoming aware. Build an understanding and make knowledge your own. This is knowledge. This is wisdom. Ancient India talked about it. Now, think for a second. Why do we suffer? If God has created this universe and God is our father and the mother, then why would God make us suffer? God is our parent. No parent, no human parent want their children to suffer. Why should God do that? God is God. God is always loving, caring, isn't it? Now, I will not get into the biblical stories where God wanted to punish human being as per the Christianity, that the Noah's Ark was made and the whole world was flooded, killing everybody, excepting a few in the Noah's Ark, and they in turn. I will not get into that story. Vedanta is saying God has created with this universe with infinite possibility, no limits. The limit is only in your mind, in your hand. Your and my hands are filled with pebbles. I have this, I have to do this, I have to do that. And God is waiting to bless you. It is reminding me of Ramakrishna Paramahansa's one story. You and I, in this struggle of the river of life, are rowing our boat. And it's a hot, humid, let's say, a day in Bengal. It is 100% humid and 100%, sometimes you find it in Mumbai, and 100 Fahrenheit is the temperature. And you're sweating, you're uncomfortable, but you're struggling with the life. What stops you from raising the sail? You have a boat, you have a sail. Raise the sail, extend the sail. And God's wind, God's blessing is always there for us. All we have to do, receive it with grace. So our hand needs to be open. And then the God's wind will, through the sail, take the boat across to the light. You can sit just holding the rudder and choose the direction in which you wish to travel. Think for a second. We are born with infinite possibility. See, all life forms at the beginning, birth, and as an end, which is death. Human beings, human children are the only one who has a beginning but no end. You say, what do you mean? You will say, don't we die? No. What dies is your body, and you are not your body is what Vedanta is trying to tell you. The infinite possibility. Now look at all animals, all plants, living creatures on this universe are nature driven. Animals are instinct driven. Let's say a tiger is born. Think, does the tiger have to do very special work, hard work, to say, I hope I don't become a pussy cat in somebody's home? No. A tiger, as long as it gets its food, will grow up to be a good, healthy, giant tiger. Isn't it? Now look at it, a human baby is born. If a human baby is just given food and no data, no information, nobody is talking, teaching anything, what will the human being be? Jada, meaning just like vegetable. This is why human babies are so helpless, so fragile. As a baby, tiger cub, giraffe cub, babies, or anything, they are not born. They're born and immediately within no time at all, within days, they're fully able to run around with the mother. Either catch the animal or run away from danger. Human babies are totally helpless. Do you know why? Did it ever occur to you to find out why? It came upon me in my reflection moment of meditation. You know why? Because we are not our body. We are the giant within. But unfortunately, you and I got disconnected from that by putting a name in our body, Robbin Ghosh, and a body. And I said, this is me. Where is Robbin Ghosh? This is me. And this is my mind, and this is my intellect, and I am like that. And this instinct driven, guided by nature, the animals are limited. But human beings have no limit because we are not instinct driven. Our Chetana, consciousness, through the mind and the brain gives us tremendous possibility, picks up the world with the five senses and gives us enormous journey to be what we want, what we desire. So this is why Swami Vivekananda says, be careful with your words and thoughts, because what your thoughts are is what you will become. In the Western world, there's a beautiful statement. If you want to know, what will you be 6 years from today, just watch your thought today. That is what you will be. So why not create this Vedantic knowledge, memory, and the feeling of the presence. Memory is past. Feel good. Remember good things. Bring it into the present. Be blissful, joyful. Be happy. Even if it is acting. Feel happy at this moment. Even at the moment of suffering. After all, great masters Why is it they don't have any suffering? They're always blissful. They always got a smile. Jesus Christ, neck was chopped off. Paramahansa Ramakrishna suffering from cancer, going to die in 3 days' time. And Hari Maharaj asks Turiya Maharaj, Thakur, how are you feeling? Is it not good? My throat is paining. I can't eat anything. Hari Maharaj said, but Thakur, you are looking as if you are in Ananda, joy, bliss. And Thakur smiles and acknowledges and says, Sala has pakad liya, rascal has caught me. How are they blissful in that? This is what that bliss. It is not the body or the mind. It is something from within. Now, because we are not instinct driven, we create our future. And because of which is there stress. Because the future is unlimited. You choose what you want to. And we choose with our mind suffering without realizing it. We think that this ambience is our world. And we create the world with our intellect. Your intellect is like a knife. It cuts through. You know, buddhi. Buddhi. I would like to give you a metaphor. Have you noticed those who are driven by intellect, they are the one create suffering, and when moment you go beyond intellect, that is beyond your mind, your suffering is finished. Look at it as an example. Buddhi is intellect. Buddha, you know, Buddha was beyond all suffering and taught mankind how to go beyond suffering. Buddha is the one who's gone beyond intellect. Okay? So he has no suffering. You and I need to go beyond intellect, beyond that mind, through that upasana sadhana. Supposing, look at it, supposing I have very poor intellect, very inferior intellect. Like, have you noticed, very poor, inferior people, they have very little suffering. They have suffering, bodily suffering, money suffering, food suffering. That's it. But the man who is very intelligent has infinite pain and suffering, much more than the worm and the grasshopper. A tiger may suffer from food, lack of food, or a wound, physical suffering. But the man's mind suffering is enormous. But understand, this suffering is not inevitable. It is self-created by our mind. And my intention is to show it to you today and tell you through the Sunday suffering that you can make joy out of yourself or you can make suffering out of yourself. You can make joy out of this moment or suffering by choosing. Freud told us that human beings, because he studied those days sick Western-minded people, and he created a lot of jargon of the psychology. Apparently, he did not have any time to study great people like Buddha. So he didn't know the human ecstasy and the other side of the human. So they are not absolutely appropriate. Now, if you can create suffering, you can also create joy, something which is beyond suffering. Think, if you are really alert right now and listening to me, if you're really listening, you will see, you will not think, I am a man or I am a woman listening to Robbin Ghosh. You will say that man and the woman is a body, is a jada, which is driven by the mind and the intellect, with the mind and the brain. But I'm beyond that man and the woman. And you will listen to me as life, as consciousness. I'm a conscious being, Aham Brahmasmi, who is listening to me. So the life energy, you can sit there and listen to me as a life energy. If you're aware, I'm a man or a woman, you will see your identity is limited to that man or the woman. If you're aware, I'm consciousness, you're beyond mind and the woman. You are the infinite being. I am that. Tat Tvam Asi. The man woman identity falls off and you focus on something divine which is within you. All the time it is there. Remember the dhobi with the diamond? He used to use that stone for scrubbing his clothes. And the diamond was always with him. You remember that story. Eventually one day he went and checked it out with his vegetable vendor who said, I'll give you 10 kgs of brinjal. This is a nice stone. Luckily it didn't sell and he went to the gold and then to the diamond merchant and got crores of rupees. The diamond merchant said, I've never seen such a big diamond in my life. The all suffering of the dhobi vanished. That diamond is within you and me. I am trying to make you become aware. You know what has happened? People are not connected, because of which they become compulsive nature. Compulsive nature, when you go for shopping, you'll keep on doing shopping. Smoke. Drink. And physical pleasure. You're trying to engage yourself by rock climbing, by going on flying and going on sailing and trying to climb the Mount Everest and trying to do away all the wrong thing that you've done in your life by escaping. Now, you need to first get connected instead of just playing a game by jumping off a mountain, by singing a song or dancing or falling in love or with something. This is what we are trying to do by being just aware and being a man or a woman. So what has happened is because you and I are not connected to that powerful within, the diamond within, the consciousness, not diamond, million times more powerful, the God within. You hear, no? God is everywhere. That's the God within. Because we are disconnected, we are half alive. Half alive with our identity, with the mind, body, name, form and function, role that we play. And we are not connected to that bliss which is within. So, when you try to get connected to those things, like jumping off a mountain or flying or pleasure or eating or restaurant or party or singing or dancing or falling in love or meditation even, you are just continuously trying to get out of being half alive to be full alive, but to the mind. And that you can't until unless you disconnect from the mind, continue to use your mind and intellect and memory and ego and feeling, but use it like an application, as an external application. If you can create one moment of joy and happiness, can't you create another moment of great happiness and another moment and another moment? People are capable today of suffering from just about anything. You have abundance of wealth, you suffer from wealth. You have no wealth, you suffer from poverty. You are suffering from loneliness. And when you got relationship, you're suffering from relationship. If you're not married, you're suffering. When you get married, you're suffering. People are suffering from everything and all kind of comforts and discomfort. This is, if you are given a choice, would you choose suffering, misery or joy? The suffering is self-created. Remember that being partially alive is a terrible torture. Do you remember in the science labs we used to cut open the frogs and the cockroaches and chloroform them? I have done it, I remember. And then you take their heart and the kidney alive to study them. Can you imagine? Those frogs and the cockroaches are half alive. They're chloroform. Can you imagine the pain and the torture? You and I are being half alive like that. And being partially alive is a terrible torture. Just like those cut frogs and dame. And this is why we are suffering from ignorance, we are suffering from education, we are suffering from poverty, we are suffering from affluence also. We are suffering from loneliness, we are suffering from company and relationships. We are suffering today from almost everything. And when you suffer, what happens? We seek pleasure with the mind, body, and the senses, and we are seeking pleasure. So notice, drinking, smoking, have fun with the body, have fun with the party, have fun with all kind of things which is momentary. How long can you continue? You love to eat pizza, eat one pizza, 2-piece pizza. See, after that, you will run away from pizza. No? If you love to sleep, many of you have slept 12 hours, 18 hours, and after that you feel miserable, isn't it? You feel so sick. Oh, I wasted my whole life. The being fully alive is you are blissful, you are in joy, and you are in ecstasy. Charles Darwin told us that about 150 years ago, that he told us, okay, I'm not saying it, that we were paleolithic, we were monkeys, and we tail fell off, and slowly we, like this journey, I'm just showing it to you, this is available on the net, that slowly we became the human being and stood around and walked around and became. Now the tail fell off, and nature made the monkey into human being as per Charles Darwin, right? But as per the ancient India, what we are talking about, that now that you are a human being, you have to evolve yourself, and that evolution is falling off not hand like a tail or a leg. It is evolving within, and that evolution within is the most important part of the journey towards freedom. Remember, we are not suffering from bondage, we are suffering from freedom. The stress comes in our life because we are driven by our mind and the intellect. A tiger does not worry how to become a tiger, good tiger. You and I become. We tell our children, study, become a good boy. How? A boy or a girl is a born good boy or a good girl. All we have to do is hold on to that inner character. So education is the manifestation of that character from within, the divine being from within. The diamond is within you and within me. Come, we will discuss more on this coming Sunday. This is Swami Vivekananda's word, that the purpose of the human life is to attain human excellence by realizing who we truly are and what we really have. Its purpose of human life is to remove all sufferings and get connected to that human excellence within. With that, Jai Guru.